So how do you get a fence that looks like this to look like this? If we go back to the fence, you look at the ground, and the ground has quite a few hips and valleys. It's fairly rough, and we're trying to keep a 72-inch or a 72-inch maximum on the height of our fence. So right now, if we build this fence to follow the ground with a specific ground clearance, this is what it's going to look like, and it's not that great. So with the Fence Genius software, the first thing that I would do is I've got it set for 72 inches on the desired, the minimum, and the maximum. I also told my system that my desired clearance is 3, my minimum's 1, my maximum's 4.5. But I'm not really using that right now. I'm only using the 3 because I've told it to follow the ground at this point. So if I go here to the fence contour lines, the very first thing that I can do to make this look better is to take it from relative to the ground to relative to a float bottom. And what that's going to do is it's going to take into account those numbers that we just looked at for the float bottom, and that's these numbers right here. It is going to let us use this desired, this minimum, and this maximum. So when I'm looking at relative to a float bottom, I need to go into the fence bottom, and this is the algorithm. This is the tension right here. You can think of it as you pull it to the right, you increase the tension of a cable, an imaginary cable that goes along here. And just think of the cable as having like wheels and little cylinders at each location. And so the tighter you pull it, the more each one goes towards more of a straight line. So I will go ahead and put the tension, increase the tension on there, and that's going to get our hips and valleys to smooth out. And then what you'll see is, like right here, now we only have about 1 inch. Now we have closer to 4. Now we can look at those if we go here and turn on the bottom lines. And you can see that, like here, it's at the bottom line is the 1 inch. Here, the top line is the 4.5. So in theory, what would happen is you would probably be coming back after the fact and putting, ground cover like beauty bark or whatever you use in your region for the ground cover. So now, how do you get it even smoother? So we've smoothed the bottom as much as we kind of can without increasing this amount. We can certainly increase this amount right here. We can make it 6. And, let's just make it 6 and see what it does. You're going to have to put a fair amount of beauty bark in this hole here. But if that's what you're doing, if you got rough ground, this is a great way to help get your fence more smooth. So let's go back to the 4.5. Okay, so it did some, but let's leave it at the 4.5. And now the place that you can help the fence top smooth more is we've already got the tension on high. But we've told the system that the boards have all got to be 72. They cannot change. So in other words, right here, I can't cut these boards a little bit down to be able to get this to be more smooth. So what I want to do is tell the system that I'll let it have a lower minimum height. So let's put that at 68 and see what that turns up. So what you're going to see now is this is going to smooth out more right here, and it'll start approaching this more. Okay, so that's really all it took to be able to make that system look that much better on the top. Now, when you build this, you'll end up building it, if you're building it in a Fence Genius production pod, you'll be able to just rip off the bottom with a skill saw. So you'll use a bump bar to bump these against, and that way they're always at the right reveal. And that's on the build rack itself. And then where you end up with boards that are sticking down long, you'll just run your saw right down it and trim them off. Anyway, that's how you can smooth the top of your fence. Thanks for watching.